And we got a caller. We got Paul from Henderson. Early in Henderson out there. Paul, what's going
happening,
on?
Paul?
What's happening, guys? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday,
Happy
man.
Friday, man.
How's it going? Hey, you know what? You guys got me paying attention to hockey now.
Oh, good.
I've been watching.
There you go.
You better, man. You got those Las Vegas Knights. They're rocking.
Hey, you know what? But the San Jose Sharks, that's my old hometown, so
Okay.
I'm kind of torn.
Oh, man.
Torn.
They got it done with a 4-0 victory the other night, right?
They were banging them around big time, too, man. Holy cow.
The San Jose Sharks are rough.
Yeah, seriously.
Man, playoff hockey is rough, let alone those guys.
Yeah.
Watch out, man. Totally.
You know, it seems like in hockey they score. Perhaps it was always like this. I just wasn't paying attention, but it seems like they're scoring a lot more goals. I mean, the games are they're really exciting.
Yeah,
a few years ago when hockey was really struggling, they made a few rule changes as to, I think they made the net slightly larger. They did a few things to kind of up the ante, but man, hockey's an awesome game. We both played it, so we're biased. We're from Hockey Town, Boston.
Okay.
But I tell everybody, man, it's like, you know, what a fast-paced game. The games aren't too long, right? It's like 2.5 hours, all of it action. It's a great game to watch live, even on TV, but playoffs, man, nothing like it. The intensity, for sure.
Yeah,
And,
I've been to a couple
getting better and
games.
better.
I'm gonna have to try to get to a Knights game out here.
Oh, I can't imagine what the atmosphere is like in Las Vegas for some good playoff hockey, man.
Man.
Yeah, and I was talking to a friend last night saying, you know, I can't fathom what tickets would cost for a Stanley Cup final game if a team makes it in Vegas to have you know a cup game going on. You know, I mean, geez, it's an action town, right? Like, and so I can't imagine the type of action that would see. But either way, pretty cool.
All right, so hey man, I want to take a look at Shake Shack.
Yeah,
and
some burgers. Everyone's eating delicious burgers, it looks like.
burgers and wings, because Wingstop was going crazy this morning too. But I can only focus on one. So I got in Shake Shack in the morning. I took some profits, but I was wondering, Tom and Tommy, if you guys could help me out in figuring out where perhaps maybe the next resistance point is, because I'm going to take some of this position and turn it into a swing here.
So let's take a look at it. So Shake Shack, the low is $30 for the year. The high is $57. Now, what's intriguing here, Paul, right, is that this is a heavy burn for people that have shot the stock, because 36% of this equity was a shot position coming into the numbers. Can you imagine that? That's intense, man. So what you have is that's almost a wipeout when you're on margin. So you're going to see two different things end up happening here. If we were short the stock and you're in margin, immediately you're going to get basically a call, meaning you're going to come up with more money. Now they're going to have to, as a broker-dealer, this is like way too close. That they'll either close this thing out on people that are short, or they'll probably, we'll see whether they give them to 130. Normally you get to 130 at 2 o'clock. When it gets this close, though, I've seen them close them out left and right in a second. Do you know what I'm saying? Because all this has to do is go up a little bit more, and if they're 50% short, then the account goes into the negative. And, all these computer systems, they're set up to make sure your account doesn't go into the negative.
Okay.
That being said, let's bring this back, and we'll put it on a monthly. I'll put it on a weekly first. So it was trading here in 2015.
Wow.
Let's see. So I got an ABC up. So what's that? That's 30. A is 30. The 46. So it's $16. That's going to get you. We're over that right now. So we're more than a 1-to-1 ABC structure on the way up already. 57. It's really hard to comprehend. Let me do this intraday. It's really hard to comprehend.
What happened in 2015 that had it tanking all the way back? Quite a turnaround they had to pull together.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. Here, I'll bring that back up again.
I've never been to this restaurant. Have you guys been there? Is it pretty good?
So I haven't, but I've heard a lot about it. And the guy who started it, Danny Meyer, is a big restaurateur in New York. And I had pulled up their Wikipedia page just because I was curious as to when Shake Shack started. I mean, it started as basically a hot dog cart in Madison Square Park. And then
Wow, that's a cool story.
Yeah, and then in 2004, what happened is that, let me get the headline, because it's pretty cool how, so they have 136 locations internationally right now. But let me get, because it is a cool, so here, we'll pull it up, because it's a cool story, man. So this is the picture that they have in Madison Square Park, and 60 Minutes did a story on him. He's got a couple amazing restaurants in terms of, he owns, it's Union Square. Let's see. I have both of them up there.
Oh, Union Square Burger? Is that what it is?
No, so yeah, it's Union. So here's Danny Meyer who started it, and where are the companies? So his company that he has, career, here we go. Union Square Cafe was his first restaurant, and that's a big one. What is the name of the company that has? Either way, they have a lot of companies, a lot of restaurants that they have in there. But yeah, so it started out, and then in 2004, it moved to a stand within the park. And what happened is, and I went to the history, so in 2004, the city began taking bids to operate basically a kiosk-style restaurant within the park. And that's where Meyer outlined his idea for a space and opened the first one July of 2004. And it was originally just kind of supposed to be kind of tailored for that type of, you know, in the park, burgers, dogs, right? Good food, but served kind of in a cart style for the park, and it just took off. And they have great food, and so from there it ran, man. Pretty cool.
That's a cool story. Yeah, that's really cool.
And I heard they have amazing food. I mean, the lines in that park are like 30 people deep that sit there. It's like a kind of like a Pat's Geno's cheesesteak style line in Philly, if you're familiar at all.
Really?
Yeah, it's just people sit there for, you know, and now they also have it, you know, I think at Yankee Stadium, at Citi Field, or wherever they have, you know, where people just show up to the game early to literally get a Shake Shack burger ahead of the game. Anyway.
You know, so Paul, the way I trade this, right? You know, this is really the only way you can risk reverse reward when something is up. It's up what? It's up 20% today, right? So you see, I got this on a 10-minute, right? You can see this bar that we're overtaking right now. The bottom of that bar is $57.39.
Yes.
I wouldn't let it get underneath that all day.
Okay.
Because what you have here is that the shot position is extraordinary. So we're only what? We're an hour into the market. You know, bottom line, some people will have covered, other people are basically sitting there praying, and you know, what I suspect is going to happen is that they can keep pushing this all day long, man. And so, you know, every bar that you get a big bar, then you bring the stop up again and put it underneath that, and put it underneath that, and put it underneath that, and just keep going. And I would get out of it at the end of the day, though. That's how I'd shake this out. Because this will get, the probability is very high that every broker-dealer is going to close those positions out on whoever shot this position. They're not going to let this go overnight unless someone comes up with a lot of money to insulate them that this gap's up again on Monday.
That would give it another acceleration going into
Paul
the Yeah, whatever's moving, you know, if I could get on top of it at a good entry point and not give myself too much risk, I try to jump all over it, you know, because
So
and
this
the Momo
one here
stocks have been absolutely insane. I mean, this week there was a stock, IMTE, I believe it was. Yeah, IMTE intraday. This thing went from $2. This was crazy. This thing went from $2 to $40 intraday. I think that was Wednesday.
It was.
Well, I
don't know what it was, but I caught a little bit of that action, and then I just got out of town.
Well, that's good, because, look at it today, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That is psycho, man. Let me just look at this. So what is this thing? It doesn't even say what it is.
Oh, geez. And the market cap, even at $20, is only $50 million. How many shares are there outstanding? So there's only 2.6 million shares outstanding. So when things started at $2, you're only talking about a company valued at $5 million. That's like nothing, you know, any company.
Exactly. And they take in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's not, this is, you know, normally we look at this at quarters. That looks to me like 6 months. They have two.
Well, what happened?
Yeah, it is.
2016, they said $14 million in revenue, and then they have nothing in 2018 with only $5 million in, I don't know. Yeah, pretty intriguing.
Oh, my God.
Very interesting. And then last weekend, EOS was moving very aggressively, and perhaps this weekend, Bitcoin might be the one that gets some action. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because over the weekend they do get more action, right? That's a 24-hour market. There's no doubt, man.
It's going to be interesting. See if it can make a run back up to that previous recent high of around 11,500. It looks like it wants to perhaps get up there. We'll see.
Yeah, listen, if you get a close over this 75.55, I mean, yeah, that game is there to 11,600. You know, when Tommy and I were at the beginning of the program, I mean, it's pretty remarkable that it is up almost 40-50% since the low, which is only on April 6th, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And now you have Goldman, you know, that's what yesterday, Goldman, bottom line is that said flat out, they are opening a trading desk. And what they're going to do, which is really going to be wild, they're going to trade in the futures market. So they're going to trade on the CBOE or CME. But what they really are doing, here it is right here. Okay, Goldman Sachs, soon to be the first Wall Street bank to launch crypto-related trading operations. It plans to roll out a number of derivatives that will allow customers to buy contracts related to the price fluctuations in Bitcoin, and aims to create more flexible type of future products called non-deliverable forwards. Down the line, the products will only be available to big institutional investors. They'll take those institutional investors to the cleaners, man. Seriously, the banks love derivative products, you know. And what will happen there, though, no doubt, is that because of that, we are going to get a lot more action, meaning volume,
and just the
inside.
I was just going to say, the last part of that article says the bank's looking to trading Bitcoin itself and not as a part of a derivative. So on top of that, they're going to be trading Bitcoin as they're plowing out tons of different ways for people to trade it themselves.
Right. So watch. What happens is that, and this is why banks love derivatives, because it's non-transparent. Let's picture that all three of us are the bank, right? We make a derivative product. They get the sales team. They go out there and sell it, right? And they make a lot of different ones, right? Then what ends up happening is that the traders, in this case, we know that there's no more traders because Goldman's trading desk went from 500 down to 3. Everything's computers now, right? So then they get the computers programmed to trade around all the derivative products, right? How cool is that? You have you know what the market is because you sold the market, right? And in Goldman's case, they're the first one selling the derivative product, right? And then what's going on is that all they keep doing is trading around the product all day long.
It's almost like an arbitrage, right? Where
Exactly. And, you know, if you have any type of spread in a product, it helps dramatically. And, of course, you're going to have a spread in a $9,000 product.
Yes,
you know?
that moves $1,000 a week, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see both of these, you know, the CBOE contract, like this one is 3,300. The CME is 27. You multiply that times 5. We'll see these go up. And then that brings more people in the market in general, you know, so pretty wild, man.
It's similar to what Nadex, I mean, same, you know, they're offering derivatives. Nadex is a big player in the futures market to make sure that as people are in those derivatives, that they have the underlying assets to cover for themselves. And they're not just exposed to everyone's trades. I mean, they have underlying the underlying, which is Bitcoin, to kind of cover their exposure as people are trading.
About, I guess I brought up about a month and a half ago, it had, and this is public information, that the CME Nadex was 15% of the market.
Yeah,
and that
makes sense.
Wow. Yeah, it was because they have to cover.
They were one of the first.
What we're buying and selling on Nadex on that platform, right? Yeah, because they don't want to.
Really cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's cool understanding it because then
they don't want to end up with a net position. Right, so that's where they lay off their position in the futures market. Exactly.
Right. They want to make a market. When you make a market, folks, you're not saying it's going up, it's going down. You want to make a market in the middle. You make the spread. That's how market makers stay alive forever. You know, pretty amazing.
It's definitely here to stay. I mean, there's a lot of excitement, especially with the younger generation. Like some of my younger cousins, they know that I trade stocks, and they're asking me all the time, like, well, what about cryptos? I want to. They don't care about the equity markets at all.
Right.
They're only focused on these cryptocurrencies. And
hey, you know what? Maybe in another 5 years, it's just going to be all digits. That's all we're going to trade is digits.
You guys have a great weekend. Paul. It was great talking to you, gentlemen.
You too, man. Enjoy those hockey games tonight. Enjoy the weekend.
All right, guys.
Take care, Paul.
Bye-bye.